Okay, let's call the Mississippi FBI. It's 601-948-5000.
You have reached the Jackson, Mississippi Division of the FBI. If this is an emergency, please hang up and dial 911. Our office hours are Monday through Friday, 8:15 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Time. If you know your party's extension, you may dial it at any time. If you are law enforcement and require immediate assistance, press 1. To speak to someone regarding a complaint, press 2. To speak to someone in the applicant office, you have reached the Federal Bureau of Investigation's public access line. This call may be recorded or monitored. FBI, how can I help you?
Hi, my name is Rudy Davis, and I'd like to have somebody check into a friend of mine. It's Pastor Kent Hovind. He's actually in the Bureau of Prison in Yazoo City, United States Penitentiary. I've got a story to tell if you have time to listen to it.
Okay, may I have your phone number, please, sir?
Sure, 972-839-9848.
Okay, and who is this person?
His name is Pastor Kent, K-E-N-T, Hovind, H-O-V-I-N-D. I have his Bureau of Prison registration number as well.
Where is he, sir?
Currently, he's at the Yazoo City, United States Penitentiary, stuck in a 10-by-7 cell, solitary confinement cell.
Okay, and what is it that you're calling to report today, sir?
Okay, so this is a very famous case. There's thousands of people that are following it, if not tens of thousands all over the world. I just received a letter from Pastor Kent Hovind. It's 4 days old, and there's a history that's going on here. He's supposed to be getting out in August, and he was sent, the prosecution, United States attorneys, which I believe are corrupt, right, brought charges against him, and all the charges were dropped, right? All the charges were mysteriously dropped, so they sent him back to the Bureau of Prison. Keep in mind, his release date is August the 9th, and here's the deal, and I'm a Christian man. I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, and I believe in the King James Bible. You can take that for what it's worth, but I need you to know that because there's a lot of people that love Pastor Hovind. There's thousands and thousands of people that love him, and there's thousands and thousands of people that hate him, right? And so you're going to get reports from both sides, probably. But I just want to let you know where I stand. I believe in the Bible, and I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. But I'm just letting you know this is a big situation. A lot of people are following it. He was supposed to get out in August, right? And now they stuck him back in Bureau of Prisons. He was supposed to get out actually on home confinement, and the paperwork was approved, but they claim to have lost the paperwork. And the problem is that when he gets out, that there's some federal judges that will be exposed. There's some U.S. prosecuting attorneys that will be exposed. There's some people within the Bureau of Prisons that will be exposed. And I believe they're trying to kill him. I believe that for the past night, I've been talking to him at least once a day for the past 3 to 4 months. He's been calling my house, and I've been taking phone calls from him, and I've been communicating with him. But 9 days ago, it was June the 8th, and today's June the 17th, so that would be, 9 days ago, I've lost all communications with him. He didn't communicate at all. And we were told by the Yazoo City prison, and the warden there, his name is Marcus Martin, they said that they stuck him in solitary confinement because he's under special investigation. You got to understand this goes all the way up to Eric Holder. Charles E. Samuels Jr. is the BOP director. Charles E. Samuels Jr. is involved in this. And the warden, Marcus Martin, is also involved. So here's what I'm trying to say. I've lost all communications with him for the past 9 days. I just received a letter that's 4 days old. So he went in there June the 8th. He wrote the letter on June the 12th, and I received the letter on June the 16th. So the letter's 4 days old, but he's actually been in solitary confinement now in a 7x10 cell for 9 days. And I know how he writes, and I know how his personality is, and he never complains about anything. And you have to understand, like, you know, if I say something about a man, it's like you think I'm exaggerating. I'm not saying you specifically, but people, he's a good, godly man. And you just have to know the history of Pastor Ken Hovind to understand what I'm about to say, but he doesn't complain about anything. And he wrote in the letter that he said, I am freezing, exclamation point. They've only allowed him to be in shorts and a shirt. He's 62 years old. He had a cough before they even put him in the cell, and I'm very, very concerned they're trying to give him pneumonia. And he would never write, here's another thing to consider too, ma'am. He understands that every letter he writes, it has to go through a prison censor, right? And so if he writes anything too drastic, right, they won't let the letter get out of prison. But the letter got out, and he wrote a lot of other stuff, right, because he has to, like, make sure that anything he writes gets through the prison censor. But one thing he wrote is, I'm in shorts and a shirt, I am freezing. And he indicated, like, he didn't even have a blanket, and I'm concerned they're trying to give him pneumonia, and that they're putting him through cruel and unusual punishment. Another aspect of this is he spent 9 days in solitary confinement, and they won't even tell his family why they put him there. And I was told by the Yazoo prison, a person who works for Warden Marcus Martin, that Ken Hovind can write me a letter and he can tell me why they put him in solitary confinement. But the letter that he wrote says he doesn't even know why they put him in solitary confinement. He's going to be out in August the 9th, which I think is only like 50 days away, or a little over 50 days. My concern is they're trying to give him pneumonia and they're trying to kill him. And I know that may sound dramatic, but if you look up the name Ken Hovind on the internet, you'll see that he's a very, very popular guy, and he's very, people listen to what he says. And I'm concerned that he has information that is going to expose some powerful people. And I truly am concerned from the bottom of my heart, and I'm not trying to be deceptive. I'm not trying to be overly dramatic. I'm concerned they're trying to get rid of him before they have to let him go because they dropped all charges. He's already spent 9 years in prison. And many, many people, including myself, believe that he spent those 9 years in prison as an innocent man. And so that's my story, and my only request, I'm not requesting any special favors, I'm just asking that somebody who's outside the prison go check on him and just talk to Pastor Hovind just to make sure he's okay. It's been 9 days and we haven't received a phone call, and we've only got this one letter. I did call the sheriff in the town, but the sheriff was under the impression, oh, that's a federal institution, I can't go do anything about it. I mean, I hope that he does, because I reminded the sheriff that he's the highest law enforcement official in the county, and that he does absolutely have the authority to walk in there and just visit him, just to make sure that he's okay and not being mistreated. The Constitution of the United States says that we can't do cruel and unusual punishment. The purpose of my phone call, and I'll give you my phone number, I'll give you my name. I'm not trying to be deceptive. I just want somebody that's outside the prison, outside Yazoo City Prison, that's outside the employment of Warden Marcus Martin, to go in there and just talk to Pastor Hovind, just to make sure that the temperature is okay and that they're not trying to freeze him to death and give him pneumonia.
Okay, and where is this person?
Where is he? He's in the Yazoo City USP. I can give you his exact mailing address. Give me just a second. Okay. Well, I only have a P.O. box. Hold on, I'll give you, if you go to bop.gov, it'll give you the address. Give me just a second and I'll do that. www.bop.gov. I'm going to look up his registration number, 06452-017.
Sir, have you contacted the Bureau of Prisons?
Many times, and so has hundreds of other people. And you know, and over and over and over again, they've told me lies. They said that he can write letters. They indicated that he will be able to tell me why they put him in a 7x10 solitary confinement cell. But yet, we've only received one letter in 9 days, and he said he's freezing. He said he's freezing to death, and he's only in shirts and a short. And I'm concerned that he had a cough before they put him in there. And you have to understand the history. I know what I'm saying sounds a little dramatic. I know it may sound like I'm a little off my rocker, but I'm only asking that somebody go check on him. Just to make, if you look up the name Ken Hovind on the internet, you'll understand how popular the guy is. He has information that I think can expose some people in high places. Many, many people have called the Yazoo City Prison, and everybody's getting the runaround, including his family. He has 2 sons and a wife of 42 years. They've called the prison, and they won't tell him why they put him in solitary confinement. They won't tell him what's going on. They won't even tell the family. Hold on, I'll give you the exact address. I've just now bring.
It would be a matter for the Bureau of Prisons.
I'm sorry?
To file a report with them.
Okay, well, you can point me to the Bureau of Prisons, and I have filed a report, but I'll say this. Charles E. Samuels Jr., who was appointed by Eric Holder, who has announced his... We started calling Charles E. Samuels Jr. to look into this, and Charles E. Samuels Jr., a short time afterwards, announces that he's retiring. Now, you may think that that's just a coincidence. I'm desperately asking for someone outside the Bureau of Prisons jurisdiction to go in there and check on him. If it's somebody from the FBI, certainly you have the authority just to make sure they're not torturing Pastor Ken Hovind. I mean, it has to be somebody outside of the Bureau of Prisons jurisdiction. That's not working for Charles E. Samuels Jr. that reports to Eric Holder. I've got the exact address. It's two.
Why do you believe that he's being tortured?
Okay, because I know how he writes. I know his personality. I know what he puts inside of his emails, and he put "I am freezing!" exclamation point in his letter. And he says they've only given me shorts and a shirt, and he had a cough before he went in there, and I know that they didn't have any valid reason to put him in solitary. He was in low security prison. He was grateful. He had just spent a year in Santa Rosa County Jail in Florida, Pensacola, Florida. He had just spent a year there. They moved him to Yazoo City, and for the first couple of days, they had him in low security prison. And he wrote me a letter, and he was calling me, and he said, I love it in low security prison. This is great. I'm really enjoying this. And then all of a sudden he went blank. We called the Yazoo City prison and said, what's up? I'm not hearing from Pastor Ken Hovind. And they said, we've moved him to solitary confinement. I said, why did you do that? They said, we're not obligated to tell you. You can have the family call. The family has called, and they won't tell the family. It's horrific that they won't even tell anybody why they've moved him to solitary confinement. And then the one letter that he managed to get out, and you have to understand, he wrote a long letter, and it's full of stuff like, about his legal case, but I understand how he writes, and he puts little sentences in there, and it's like key sentences that he has to get past the prison censor. And he's telling me that he's freezing to death, and that he's only got shorts and a shirt, and he doesn't even have a blanket. Now, because...
Has he been in contact with his attorney as well?
We're trying to get an attorney to go visit him in Mississippi, but his attorney is in Florida. And his attorney is a public defender, Thomas S. Keith. And we've reached out to him, and he says, everybody's always saying to go back to the BOP. I'm just telling you that I'm asking the question, is it possible that there's certain people in the BOP that are being motivated by other agendas? And isn't it weird that he hasn't been heard from in 9 days?
Specific information about that?
Specific information?
Anything to back that claim up?
Oh, that there's people in the BOP with an agenda?
Yes. Do you
Okay.
have names and
I don't think that it's a coincidence that Charles E. Samuels Jr. announced his retirement after he started receiving dozens of phone calls, if not hundreds of phone calls, from supporters of Pastor Ken Hovind. I don't think that's a coincidence that he announced his retirement. There's a book.
But do you have any evidence that it's not a coincidence, sir?
I don't have any evidence that it's not, but I'm just asking that someone check on him. I'm just asking that someone please check on Pastor Ken Hovind to make sure that he's not being mistreated. Let me share this with you as well.
Do you know this person personally, sir?
Do I? Yes, I know him personally. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Let me say this too. Pastor Ken Hovind wrote a book. Okay, it's called The Kennel, Kennel. I've read the book. And the entire book exposes the United States prison system. If you read that book and you take the time, it's like a couple hours to read it. It will tell you all kinds of things about how judges own stock in the prison system, congressmen own stock in the prison system. It will tell you that the entire prison system, how it's run, and that they're motivated by filling up the prisons as opposed to they have incentives for handing out longer prison sentences. And so this book that's been written, there's some very high-level people that have been handed the book, like Mike Huckabee and other people, and he's exposing the prison system. I don't have any hard evidence to give you that Charles E. Samuels Jr. has done anything illegal. No, ma'am, I do not. But what I am saying is that they moved him into solitary confinement. I've been speaking to Ken Hovind for the past 3 months every single day, and the fact that he's supposed to get out of prison after 9 years, he spent nearly 9 years in prison. He's supposed to get out in less than 50 days, and I'm concerned that the things that he's going to bring to light to the American public that they're trying to silence him, and they're trying to possibly give him pneumonia. And I'm just very concerned for his safety. And I'm not asking for any special favors. I'm just asking that the FBI send somebody into the prison to check on him. And you can say that I'm a nut. You can say I'm over dramatic. But what am I asking for? I'm not asking. All I'm asking is I'm concerned about the safety of Pastor Ken Hovind. And if you look him up on the internet, you'll see everything I'm saying is true. He wrote a book called The Kennel. The Bureau of Prison, Charles E. Samuels Jr., he's recently announced his retirement, and that's because he started receiving phone calls from dozens and dozens of people that love and support Pastor Ken Hovind. There's nothing that I'm telling you that is untrue, and I'm not trying to be deceptive or dramatic. I just simply have a valid concern for the safety of Pastor Ken Hovind. I just want to make sure that he's okay. It concerns me greatly that he's gone 9 days, and we haven't heard a word from him.
All right, sir. I will document the information here.
Okay, you mind if I just get your name, and if, you know, is it okay to ask for that?
My name is Amanda.
Amanda, okay. And did I give you my phone number so you can call me back? I forgot if I gave it to you.
Yes, 972-839-984.
Yes, ma'am. You can call me anything, and keep in mind, there's thousands of people that love Pastor Hovind, and there's thousands of people that hate him. Now, I would just give you a little fair warning that the people that hate Pastor Hovind, they're going to start calling the FBI, and they're going to start telling you all kinds of things. Now, even if regardless if I'm a good guy or bad guy, it doesn't stop the fact that someone should check on Pastor Ken Hovind. I don't think that I'm a nut, ma'am. I really don't. But even if somebody convinces you that I'm crazy, that still doesn't stop the fact that someone should check on Pastor Hovind. It's like, even if I'm crazy, even if I'm dramatic, even if I'm a nutcase, it doesn't mean that someone shouldn't still check on Pastor Ken Hovind. Just please be aware of that, because there's lots of people that are paying attention to this, and I just want somebody to make sure that he's okay. And that's the only thing I'm asking for, and I appreciate you listening to me.
All right, sir. Thank you for calling.
Okay, thank you, Amanda. Bye-bye.
Bye.